The drama is over. Tragedy struck downtown this morning. One day is just like every other.
Welcome to Dennis World. I'm here in Stockholm City with my friend Emil Marshak.
Hello.
Marshakos.
Yeah, Marshak, some say
Marshakos.
Marshak, and in the States they usually say Markzak. So it's
Markzak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Siri says Markzak.
Does?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you ask her after my name, she says
Oh.
Emil Markzak.
Wow, interesting. Markzak. Anyway, this is the first time we are doing this in English. Before we have done it in Swedish.
Yes.
And the last time was that was at my home in Stockholm city, not in city, archipelago. Mm-hmm. And I do my best here now to explain my adventure together with Emil in English. And, it's not my language really, but I do my best. Mm. And we have lots of experience and lots of adventure we have done together.
Yeah.
And you have following us in our adventure out in the Baltic Sea and also in Panama. Mm-hmm. And I must say I'm very fascinated in your job as a camera guy and document everything we do, because that have also been my dream when I was a young guy to do my own films and movies and recording and so on. And now I'm sitting with you here, and I decided to do this interview together with you because we have shared so much experience together. And I have received lots of mails from lots of people around the world who have listened to our pod we did in Swedish, and they don't understand anything.
They don't?
Say, but they want to have it in English.
Then they have to learn some Swedish.
Yeah. That's what I also say. But they don't listen to that.
You know that I don't know if it's true, but I read that in Japan there's a culture. There was in the 60s or 70s or 90s, 80s, I don't remember. In the Japanese culture, to make some business deals, you have to learn the country's language. That was their tradition. Mm-hmm. So the Japanese people taught English, went to America and did a lot of business. Mm. But when the Americans tried to do business in Japan, they couldn't because they spoke English. Mm-hmm. And in the tradition, you don't do it. You do it with their own country's language, so to speak. Yeah. So they had to teach Japanese before they could do some business in Japan. Now, I don't know if it's true, but it's an interesting story.
Yeah. That's interesting. I remember before we found this object in the Baltic Sea, 2011, I was not so good in English at all. And I remember all the media stations, or not all, but many media stations called me directly in English and want to have an interview with me. And I used, what can I say and how can I say it in the best way? So I was surprised. And anyway, that's 12 years ago, 11 years ago that happened. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time, but in some way it's not.
No, you're right. Anyway, the Baltic Sea anomaly was something that I will never ever forget, and I will do, of course, my best to find out what we have found, and we have not, found or have any good explanation today what it can be, really. What do you think, Emil?
Well, first of all, if I may introduce myself, I'm a documentary.
Who are you?
Yeah, I'm a documentary photographer, producer. I've done some documentaries through the years, and one of them is with you guys, and of course I've been accompanying you on a lot of crazy expeditions. Yeah. Almost all over the world,
Yeah.
I would say. And it's been fun and crazy a lot of times. And so I've been doing these interviews with you and collecting this enormous amount of data, hoping someday you could use it somehow. But now we have this one documentary called Baltic Anomaly to the Mystery Continues, which I did. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, it is on Amazon Prime, among others. And it's when we actually return the second time or third time at the location where the mystery circle, the Baltic Anomaly is. But yes, this is, I mean, I've done other documentaries like Walking with the Tall Whites, which I shot in Nevada.
What's that?
That's a documentary about a guy named Charles James Hall, who claims that he was in his 20s. He was an enlisted soldier in the U.S. Air Force, and he scored like very high in his IQ test. He had like 1 wrong out of 500. So he thought, okay, I can choose to serve wherever I would like to. And he applied to serve in Europe, but the U.S. Air Force said, no, we have already planned your assignment. So he was a soldier, he couldn't just say anything, so just follow orders. And they sent him to Creek Air Force Base in Nevada. And when he arrived there, all the soldiers, they liked him. He was a likable guy. And they started to tell him these funny stories about ghosts in the desert, and it's the barracks where he sleeps are haunted and stuff like that. And he was thinking, they're pulling the new guy's leg. And to make the story short, what happens is that he claims that he met this alien race, which he called the Tall Whites. And they look pretty much like humans, but they have a chalk white skin and a bit bigger eyes than we do. And they had like an embassy area in the base, so it's like a base in the base, where they actually used as a pit stop for their deep space ships to repair. And they're going further down into the deep space somehow. And they collected, had a transfer with the government somehow. They got minerals they needed to repair the ships, and they paid with some technologies, which they distributed to the government. So that was a deal, and they couldn't kind of leave the compound somehow in this base. And he stayed there for 2 years, and actually had a relationship, friendship with some of them, the tallest. They were very individual. He wrote like 6 books about this. I read the documentaries about the first 3 books, and very fascinating story. Whether you believe him or not, it's kind of very interesting, fascinating story, I would say. So I recommend look at it if you can.
I will, and I have.
You have, but the listeners.
I have already.
Yeah. Walking with the Tall Whites.
Walking with the Tall Whites. I must say it's a fascinating story and a great documentary film.
Yeah.
So I also recommend everybody to see it. It's on Amazon Prime. Is it in Europe also, you think?
Yeah, I know it's so many distributors has a Rocket Channel. I don't remember. There's so many. Tubi TV, among others. I think it's like 28 different distributors who bought and distributing. So today I think it's like 4 million unique streams on that single documentary alone. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. I know you have something else going on now in the background. Do you want to talk about that? Because I have seen little of that also. And I must say, wow, that's cool, interesting. So please share.
Actually, it's almost I'm in the online phase. So I'm pretty close to finishing. All the ingredients are, so to speak, set. So I just doing the color correction and audio mix down and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
But it's I call it Chill Bolton incident. But I don't know if we're going to change the name to the Ghost Circles because it sounds cooler. But anyway, my thought was I read about this crop circles in England. So my ambition was let's go down there, hang around on the pubs, talk about this, meet some, like
local,
local subculture guys who do this during the night with planks and ropes. And follow them, and you do because I read that the subculture who do graffiti paintings, Banksy and guys like that, because it's illegal often, and they have a pseudonym names like a symbol or something, so people in the culture know who painted that, but the rest of us doesn't. So I was thinking they had to have something similar among themselves, but when I arrived, developed to a totally different story, and there was a lot of stuff I didn't know, which really set my mind at kind of what, and that's what about. And one of those things is, for instance, ghost circles, because people, the scientists explain this like there are genuine ghosts, genuine crop circles and man-made crop circles, and they know it because they claim that if it's a man-made, when you enter, the first person to enter them documents everything, and then you find tracks from shoes, footprints, the seed, the wheat, the corn, whatever it is broken in the stem because they're using the plank to push it forward, and they are not as beautiful as the one they call genuine. And the genuine one, what they claim, there is no traces of footsteps, and the seed is not broken in the stem.
And how come that?
They don't know, and the seed is just folded at the base, but is still alive, so it's not cut or broken anything. And then the air photographer do air photos about this, and in the phase one, what they call it, it's like when the crop formation when they found it, almost every time it's pretty early in the morning, and there are a lot of people out there in Wiltshire in England, because it's mostly in England, but it actually happens all over the world, and they know the terrain pretty well, and pretty soon they find them. So they often done in the night, a few hours of darkness, and the air photographer photoed this particular one, which I have. She sent me several of those examples. The one they called a genuine crop circle, and 1 month later she flew over again, and the farmer had cut the seed, and so all the other stems are like gray, except the crop circle, the former crop circle, raised again by the stems, which are totally green, and they're like 3.5 meters, 3-4 decimeters high, about half yard, I would say, only over the formation. So the formation reappears at the same place, but that's not the most crazy thing, because.
But that's crazy.
Yeah, so everything is dead, but this grows up again.
Yeah.
And then she flew over 9 months later, the next year. So the farmer has plowed and reset a new harvest. So it's oil seed rape.
Okay.
And so it's a completely different seed than it was wheat from the beginning, and now it's oil rape seed. And the formation reappears again in the oil rape seed. It kind of how to say it, you see the field of the yellow flowers, and where the formation is,